During the darkest years of the war, when sirens replaced birdsong and streets emptied before sunset, there stood a small restaurant on the corner of Maple and 3rd. Its sign read simply, Harrison's Kitchen. Before the war, it had been a warm place. Families gathered there. Lovers shared late dinners. Travelers rested their tired feet and filled their bellies. And beneath the restaurant, in a narrow concrete basement, lived its owner. His name was Thomas Harrison. Thomas had no wife, no children, no close relatives. The restaurant was his entire world. Every night after closing, he descended the creaking stairs to his small basement room. A narrow bed, a single chair, a tiny sink. He preferred it that way. Being alone was easier than being disappointed. When the war reached the town, everything changed. Businesses shut down one by one. People fled or were drafted. Food became scarce. Curfews were enforced. But Thomas refused to leave. This place still needs feeding, he told himself. He continued cooking for anyone who came, soldiers passing through, frightened neighbors, desperate refugees. Even when shelves were empty, he somehow made meals appear. Thin soups, simple bread, warm cups of tea. Then, one bitter winter night, Thomas collapsed in the basement. No one heard him fall. No one came looking. The town was too busy surviving. He died alone on the cold concrete floor. And the war swallowed his death. After the war, years later, when peace finally returned, people began rebuilding their lives. Shops reopened. Children played in the streets again. And Harrison's Kitchen was already open. Lights glowed warmly through its windows. The smell of fresh food drifted down the street. People were surprised but grateful. They assumed Thomas had survived the war. They never saw him clearly. He stayed behind the counter. He avoided long conversations. He worked silently, efficiently, cooking with practiced hands. But the food was unforgettable, comforting, familiar, as if each dish carried memories inside it. Customers noticed strange things. Plates sometimes slid onto tables by themselves. The kitchen door opened without anyone touching it. Late at night, chairs would move softly across the floor. Still, no one questioned it. After war, people accept miracles. The ghost who didn't know he was dead, Thomas, continued his routine exactly as before. He woke. He cooked. He served. He cleaned. He returned to the basement each night. He did not realize he was no longer alive. The world felt the same to him. Time had no meaning anymore. He existed only for the restaurant, only for the people who came hungry. He never looked at mirrors. There was one in the hallway near the storage room, but it had been covered with a cloth years ago to keep grease off it. The discovery. One evening, a young waitress named Elena was hired to help during busy hours. She worked quietly beside Thomas, though she felt uneasy around him. His footsteps made no sound. His reflection never appeared in the glass of the oven doors. Still, she needed the job. One night, while cleaning, Elena removed the dusty cloth from the hallway mirror. Minutes later, Thomas walked past it, carrying a tray of soup, and stopped. He slowly turned. For the first time in years, he faced his reflection. Only, there was none. The hallway behind him was empty. No man, no face, no eyes staring back, just air. Thomas dropped the tray. Bowls shattered on the floor. His hands began to tremble. Memories flooded back the basement, the cold floor, the silence, the way his heart had slowed and stopped. He whispered, "I died here." Elena found him standing frozen in front of the mirror, tears falling onto the tiles. She screamed. The basement truth police searched the building. In the basement, beneath years of dust and cobwebs, they found Thomas Harrison's remains. He had been dead since the war. The restaurant had been run by his spirit, cooking, serving, waiting. The last night, that evening, Harrison's Kitchen closed its doors forever. But witnesses say that as the lights went out, a warm glow filled the dining room one last time. Plates set themselves neatly on tables, chairs pushed in, and the faint smell of soup drifted into the street. Thomas had finally understood, and once he did, he was free.